Greetings and salutations. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Prepper Nation. If you are on, let me get this thing up here, son. If you're on Patreon, we have a reveal video. Look for that about lunchtime today, folks. If you're not on Patreon, I'll drop a link down below in case you're interested, okay? Huge video coming out over there today. So anyway, can we talk about Germany already? Can we talk about Germany, if you don't mind, son? Germany, they know something that we don't know. Us peasants, I'm saying. I think our government knows. I think the elites within our government, they have known for some time. All right. Other elites within other governments have known, but us peasants here in the United States and abroad, we're just not privy to a lot of information. See, this is the thing, all right? I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I'm going to get off on a tangent for a second. People think the power that the elites have over us peasants is money. It's really not. All right, once you get to Elon Musk money, okay, maybe, or Zuckerberg money, okay, maybe. Warren Buffett, son, I'm looking at you, maybe. But I'm talking about your average elite. What do they have that we don't have? They have the answers to a lot of questions. You know what I'm saying? Again, not trying to get off on a tangent too much. UFOs, they already know what these things are. If there's going to be alien reveals at some point, they know when that's going to be. They know how it's going to be implemented. They know what is going around, on around the world. So getting back to Germany for a moment. When Russia invaded Ukraine, Germany put a stop on a program. We've done it here in the United States as well. A lot of these old World War II or the Cold War bunkers, even here in the United States, went up for commercial sales. The government's just trying to get shit of them at this point, right? Germany, they were doing the same thing. But the moment Russia invaded Ukraine, they stopped that program. They quit selling these things to peasants and peasants with money, millionaires or stuff like that in Germany. And they started hoarding what shelters they had left. In Germany, the government started to retrofit them, get them up to date, if you will, and they started building new bunkers. Right now in Germany, these people within the government, they are building bunkers to survive nukes, to survive, the potential of World War III, the carpet bombing that is associated with World War. Like their hair's on fire. And they've been doing this for some time. Okay. The question is why? What do they know that we don't know? Sure, they may suspect that Russia is going to continue to land grab. That's their official story. But Russia really hasn't shown any signs of that. To me, it looks like Russia has Crimea. They've had this for a while. It looks like they're trying to establish a land bridge / buffer zone between NATO and Russia. They really haven't tried any other sorts of land grabs at this point. Now, you can argue one way or the other that they don't have the manpower to do it. Personally, I think they do. Personally, I think that they just recently started throwing uppercuts. They've been throwing the occasional jab here and there, but ever since the election, ever since Trump became president-elect, I mean, look, they've been throwing uppercuts and they've been making huge, substantial, important gains in Ukraine. Zelensky needs to throw in the towel because this is long over at this point. He's out of manpower, he's out of money, he's out of everything. He needs to negotiate. Or the people need to overthrow him because he's not a legitimate government. President, excuse me. He hasn't been since summertime, right? So this guy is forcing people now to fight for Ukraine, and he's not a legitimate president. Think about that. He's becoming very unpopular among the people within Ukraine. I think they did a recent poll. Now, this is according to Western mainstream media. So always, always eat a spoonful of salt before you believe anything they tell you. But he's polling at like 12%. Most people in Ukraine do not want him back on the ticket. He's just not popular for whatever reason. But this goes beyond Ukraine. This goes beyond Germany. Again, Germany, it seems like they're loading up for World War III. And it seems like they're taking more of a defensive posture. They are the one country so far, the one major country that has not given Zelensky permission to use long-range ballistic missiles. Okay? It seems like they don't want war. I'm talking about Germany. Think about how crazy that is. You understand what I'm saying? You getting this? You're writing this down? Think about how crazy it is that Germany, one of the belligerents in World War I and World War II, they don't want war. It seems like they don't want any part of it. And should it come to them, they're going to take a defensive posture. They want their people underground. And they're, again, their military, they're stacking things up at this point. But the problem Germany has, and the problem, quite frankly, that we have in the United States, Germany only has enough bunker space right now for 1% of its population. That's not a lot. That's leaving 99% of your population hung out to dry. You know, and getting back into it for a moment, the carpet bombing and stuff would be the main concern, I think. Entire cities during World War II in this area got leveled because they were going after factories and things like this. The Allies were. So Germany sees it. They're trying to avoid it, but they are way behind the 8 ball when it comes down to the come down. It goes beyond Germany, though. Sweden, Finland. They're actively telling their citizens prepare for war. Imagine your government telling you that. You need to prepare for war. You need to be ready just in case. You know how here in the United States, we really don't do that. They're like, don't prep, don't prepare, don't be a hoarder. They always use the term hoarder. And some preppers are hoarders, but many preppers are not. And they're just being told, you know, by their government over there, prepare for war. They've come out with new survival manuals that you can pick up at government offices. They have a website with all of the information online. Again, Sweden and Finland. They are telling their populace, load up on diapers, medication, and baby food. These are going to be the 3 shortages out of the gate if we see war. Imagine being told that, to expect war. You know, because at that point, you know there are going to be major shortages. They're telling you. And you know there's going to be some sort of a draft. They're not just going to allow us peasants to sit around, right? Or the peasants in Sweden and Finland. And again, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I'm saying the governments as a whole look at us like we're peasants. A lot of people are going to be talking about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden this morning. No need. We'll touch on it. There's no need to talk about it in depth over here because 6 months ago, I sat here and told you Hunter Biden's not going to do any jail time because he's not a peasant. He's well connected within the elites. He can go out and do the things that he did. He should be shallow graved. Anybody that does these sorts of things, if you've seen the laptop, you understand. But he's going to do no jail time. Me, if I go out here and I try to fish without a license, they probably ticketing me or throwing me in jail because I'm a peasant. 2 sets of rules here, folks. It's always been this way. So I don't know why people are surprised by this move. I know Joe Biden, well, not Joe Biden himself because he can't string sentences together, but Jean-Pierre, the White House speaker. It's hot. Listen, where's Mad Magazine right now, son? Can you imagine Alfred Newman on the cover dressed as Jean-Pierre talking in circles? Multiple times, like 4 or 5 different times. She actually came out and said Joe Biden is not going to pardon hunter for this stuff. He's not getting involved. And the whole time I'm like, you're full of crap. All this administration has done is gaslight people and lie to people. And at this point, Joe Biden, I just want you to go away. Go sit in a corner somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Until it's time for Trump to take office. Please just go sit, color in a coloring book, like the adult coloring books now they selling, son. I seen these at Ollie's the other day. I'm like, this is a new concept, at least to me. Go sit in a corner somewhere and just color until your term is over. Please do not cause any more chaos. Take Kamala with you. Color together. Be best friends. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure Hunter Biden is going to be punished in some way, shape, or form. Maybe Joe is going to take his cell phone away for a week. You know, he's going to be punished like my teenagers are punished. Maybe. Maybe he's going to be put in a corner, his nose in a corner. You know, I'm doubting it, but hey, who knows? Maybe. Maybe he's going to be forced to write on a chalkboard, I will no longer be a human scumbag. Maybe he's got to write that down 50 times, right? But again, people are going to be talking about it. I just wanted to touch on it. This man was never going to jail. And getting back to the topic at hand, I like to stray, son. I like to stray from the topic sometimes, apparently, and ramble. The UK Army head, the guy that's over the entire army in the UK, has come out and said, now he's saying we're already in World War III. I'm kind of sort of on the fence on this. We'll touch back on that topic later this week. Excuse me, because I don't know where I stand on this. We're either already knee deep in World War III and it's a foregone conclusion that the United States is involved, or Trump is going to come in and he's going to be able to put out some of the fires and maybe keep us out of World War III, at least temporarily. We'll see. We'll revisit that topic. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are we already in World War III, or is there some sort of hope that Trump could keep us out of it? But the Army head, he says, hey, we're already in World War III, and we're 3 years behind. He's saying in terms of bunkers, in terms of armaments, in terms of weapons, we're 3 years behind. And he's begging the government, we got to get ready for this now. Because he's saying it's here. He's pushing for massive mobilization in the UK. The problem, again, is your average peasant. We don't want war. Whether you're liberal, whether you're conservative, most people agree we're trying to avoid World War III. If you're not trying to avoid a third world war, you have lost your mind, or you have no skin in the game, or you don't have to worry about your kids or your grandkids being drafted, this sort of thing. The Times of India put out an article recently, and they're stating World War III just started in Syria. They're saying Syria is the flashpoint. Everything was set up, you know, Risk board game style. And Syria is currently fighting rebels in Syria that are using United States equipment. The rebels, they're saying, are U.S. backed. Because again, who doesn't need another fire? You know what I'm saying? Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. Again, I don't know. I'm not on the ground in Syria. But these rebels are trying to overthrow the government. Whether you like the government of Syria or not, this is a major escalation in that area of the world at a time when we really don't need major escalations anywhere else. We need to be de-escalating. But somehow, some way, U.S. weaponry, lots of it, has found its way into the good graces of the rebels in Syria. And now the government of Syria has a major problem. And the reason earlier in the video that I said I don't think Russia is out of manpower and weaponry is Russia's coming to the defense of the government of Syria. And they're using airstrikes and things against the rebels. We'll see. The question becomes, how many fires can President-elect Donald Trump put out? You know, he said he can end the war in Ukraine in his first day. That remains to be seen. He says he can do it with phone calls. But I don't know that you're going to be able to do that with all of the fires that we have across the globe right now. You've got Israel and Palestine. Joe Biden says, hey, we've got a peace deal. It's over. I'm not buying that because it's been on again, off again for thousands of years, Joe. I'm not buying that the Biden administration somehow all of a sudden became competent and now it's peace in the Middle East and everybody's holding hands. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. Especially from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Jean-Pierre. What a train wreck this whole administration has been. We've got Russia and Ukraine. So much money has been, we'll talk about that later this week, but so much money has been funneled into Ukraine. And what do we have to show for it here in the United States? Honest to God, ask yourself that question. What do we have to show for all of the money that we have sailed this poser over in Ukraine? How has it helped the United States in any way, shape, or form? Well, send us this money or you're looking down the barrel of World War III. We're still looking down the barrel of World War III. We're just a lot broker now. And Joe Biden's talking about, same with the student loans. He's saying, well, debt forgiveness. We're going to let Zelensky and company off the hook. How ridiculous. Now you've got the Syria and the Syrian rebels. Another flashpoint. Another fire that Trump is going to try and have to de-escalate. You've got China and Taiwan, folks. China's basically telling the world we're going to take Taiwan back. So a little backstory, a little history, real quick. You know, why does China want Taiwan so bad? Why is Taiwan resisting so much? Are they an independent country? Are they part of China? China had a civil war between nationalists and communists, okay? The nationalists lost, and they basically fled to the island of Taiwan. So there's a huge concentration of people in Taiwan that are technically Chinese that don't want to be communists. And then you have mainland China. They are communists, but they're looking at Taiwan. They're saying that's still our island. It's always been our island, right? So there's no love lost between these two. And China has no problem. I mean, they are wargaming right now, wargaming land invasions of Taiwan, sailing off the coast, checking those reaction times. What is Taiwan showing up with? How are they reacting? What kind of planes are they sending? How long does it take to get there? China's not playing. They're eventually going to take Taiwan. And then we have, of course, North Korea and South Korea on the verge of another war between the two. The United States and its allies. Okay. We just went over the list. The allies of the United States either don't want war, Germany. Okay. They're either trying to prepare people, Sweden and Finland, or they're way behind the eight ball, meaning they're not ready for war. The UK is not ready for war. France is never ready for war, in case you haven't heard. That's right. Now you know. The French are never ready for a war. And the United States is overdeployed all over the place. And our war chest runneth dry. We have no money really to fight with. We just fought a proxy war. We're still, it's still taking place. We're fighting a proxy war. It's basically the United States versus Russia in Ukraine. And we're getting our tails whipped. Okay? I'm just saying. This whole thing is out of control. It's spiraling out of control. Biden and company throwing gasoline all over the place, flicking cigarettes all over the place to see how much damage they can possibly do. Can Trump prevent all of these fires from escalating into World War III? Or are we already in World War III? We'll talk about it later this week, but I would love to hear your comments on that entire situation. Till next time, y'all take care. God bless.